Although horrifying, the Cropsey legend was primarily dismissed as a tale that parents told their kids to discourage them from wandering too far from home, and that older siblings used to frighten their younger siblings. But when Andrew Rand was identified as the genuine Cropsey killer in 1987, the citizens of Staten Island were shocked to learn that the Cropsey legend had become a true story. In this video, we will discuss Cropsey. The video will be amazing, so stick to the end. In the region, Cropsey was a well-known tale. One summer camp adaptation of the Cropsey story served as the basis for the 1981 slasher film The Burning. Surprisingly, the cult classic stays true to the legend that Staten Island scouts once traded stories over toasted marshmallows. It centers on George Cropsey, a formerly respectable man, who spirals into madness after a practical joke leaves him scared and starts using an axe to murder innocent summer campers. On Staten Island, Andrew Rand worked as a janitor at the Willowbrook State School, a facility whose name alone can terrify both adults and children. The facility, created as a relief for kids with intellectual problems, was exposed in the 1970s as a living nightmare, but officials didn't close the school until 1987. A young Geraldo Rivera wrote an expose in 1972 that exposed the appalling conditions at Willowbrook State School and set up a public scandal. 15 years after the school's closure, federal civil rights legislation protecting the mentally handicapped and other institutionalized individuals was successfully passed, in part thanks to the negative press. Andrew Rand, a former janitor at the School of Horrors, was detained in connection with Jennifer Schweiger, a 12-year-old Down syndrome child who vanished that year. Rand was homeless at the time and had set up camp on the grounds of the defunct school. Not far from the dilapidated Seaview Hospital, which was so intimately associated with the Cropsey tale. Searchers discovered Jennifer's remains in a small grave on the lonely school grounds where the wanderer had been living more than a month after she vanished. Rand was accused of killing someone. Rand already had a lengthy history of atrocities against minors by that point. He was given a 16-month prison term in 1969 for attempting to attack a 9-year-old child sexually. He was sent to prison once more in 1983 after taking a busload of kids from the neighborhood YMCA and taking them to the airport. Police had already suspected him in the disappearances of at least 4 other Staten Islanders dating back more than 10 years, even though there wasn't enough physical evidence to arrest him. Tyahese Jackson, 11, who vanished in 1983, Alice Pereira, 5, who vanished in 1972. Holly Ann Hughes, 7, who vanished in 1981 and was last seen with Rand on the day of her disappearance, and Hank Caforio, a mentally challenged 22-year-old who was last seen with Rand at a cafe in 1984. None of the bodies have been discovered as of yet. There was not enough concrete proof of Rand's direct involvement in Jennifer's death for the jury in Rand's case to find him guilty of murder. However, they determined that he was guilty of kidnapping, and Rand was given a 25-year prison term. Rand would have been qualified for parole in 2008. But new information regarding his involvement in Holly Ann Hughes' disappearance emerged in 2004. A fellow prisoner recorded his chats with Rand, during which the latter gave a detailed account of his kidnapping of the girl. Rand received a second 25-year sentence after being found guilty of a second abduction offense. When he turns 93 years old in 2037, he will then be able to apply for parole. Residents of the tri-state area are still fascinated and horrified by Rand's and Cropsey's stories. The Staten Island-raised filmmakers Joshua Zeman and Barbara Brancaccio recall hearing the scary Cropsey tales as youngsters. Adults' inquisitiveness prompted them to learn more about the island's actual missing children incidents and the urban mythology of Cropsey. Their spooky film, Cropsey, investigates the peculiar case of the bougie men who appear to come to life. Cropsey features interviews with notable characters in the story, such as the victims' friends and families, and the police who work to solve the case of the inexplicably vanished children. The issue of Rand's culpability and societal prejudices are also covered. Could Rand was just detained because he was a social outcast and had a criminal history in the lack of concrete proof linking him to wrongdoing? His affiliation with the Willowbrook State School didn't help his image either, because the mention of the school's name aroused fears that he might have participated in some of the horrifying mistreatment there. He was the ideal suspect to suit the Cropsey murderer profile, but was he actually the offender? Jennifer Schweiger's murder and the disappearances of 4 other helpless young people were true crimes, even though the killer was probably not an axe-wielding lunatic with a hook for a hand, as the Cropsey folklore has it. Staten Islanders were astonished that anything so terrible could happen in their community. Even the gullible children who may have bought into the gory stories their older siblings spread. The story of this lunatic from Staten Island serves as a warning that there are far too many boogeymen among us. This was all for today. I hope you liked the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Stay safe, and we will be right back soon with another video. For more information, subscribe and watch other videos from our channel.